It's a guessing game. It's a guessing game. It's a guessing game. It's a guessing game.
Thank you very much. Hello, I'm Clive Anderson. I'm Clive Anderson. Welcome to The Guessing Game. Our first series created quite a stir in the press. It was even mentioned in the Church Times, which said if they get a second series, it'll be a miracle. Well, take that, Richard Dawkins. Here we are. Now, the guessing games makes our comedy guests use their funny bones until they're quite sore. On this show, you get points for good knowledge, great guesswork, and big laughs. It's 20% inspiration, 90% perspiration, and 8% mathematics. Our first team captain is a lawyer turned comedian. In fact, she's the funniest thing to come out of the law court since Ken Dodd was giving evidence in his tax trial. Susan Calman. On Susan's team is a comedian who is 1/3 of the sketch team formerly known as Pappy's Fun Club, winner of the Edinburgh Comedy Prize, formerly known as the Perrier Award, and 3/3 of his own stand-up show, Matthew Crosby. The clue to the second team captain is he's a comic with his own 5-piece jazz band. He owns piles of jazz memorabilia, piles of jazz books, and piles of jazz mags. It's Alex Horne.
Hello.
Thank you. That's all right. And with Alex today is comedian and character actress from Wales. Her Edinburgh Fringe show last year was described as a complete sellout. I'm sure she didn't compromise all of her principles. Apparently it was really rather good. It's Cariad, Lloyd.
Hello.
With our lovely guests, joining us on stage is, of course, our wonderful house band, the Gus and Finn Four.
It's round one, it's round one, it's round, it's round one, it's round one, it's round one.
Yes, indeed. The Gus and Finn Four, they're the ukulele version of the Beastie Boys. What they can't do with a ukulele has often been shouted out as suggestions at some of their rougher gigs, but... Now, this is the quickfire round. Remember, instead of listening to this show on the radio, you can play a guessing game at home just by inviting 4 friends round, plus a ukulele band, an actor and an audience, and it's as easy as that. And, of course, doing it that way entitles you to a 0.00017% discount on your licence fee. Anyway, team, you scored 2 points for each correct answer and 1 if it's just a funny guess. So let's start with this question. Why would actor Billy Bob Thornton not want to sleep over at a pensioner's house? Oh, yes.
I think it's an excellent question.
Thank you very much.
I thought what I'd do is answer it with a question. Why wouldn't he? What is the question?
I think he wouldn't want to stay with an older lady because she would go, well, why didn't it work out? Perhaps chastise him for his lack of ability to stick with one woman for one time. It might dredge up emotional memories. He might end up in tears. Listen, it's not the kind of Monday night any of us want.
OK. I think that's a very good answer. It's not the right answer. I'll give you a point for it, though. That's a very, very well worked out. I felt in some ways you weren't only talking about him, you were talking a bit about yourself there. I don't know, but I often feel that with your answers. Okay. But you were never married to Billy Bob Thornton, were you?
No, I wasn't married to Billy Bob Thornton, and I wouldn't marry him because he doesn't... He's a commitment.
I was for a brief period married to Billy Bob Thornton, and he was very tender.
He was tender, but did you get any hint of why he might not want to stay at a pensioner's?
I can tell you the actual answer.
You can, good.
That he has a terrible phobia to the smell of biscuits.
Oh, gosh.
So a pensioner's house for him is an absolute nightmare.
You are so close to the right... I know you're presenting it as a funny answer.
I actually know the other answer as well. He's afraid of antique furniture.
Oh, correct.
Yes, there we go.
Oh, you were tormenting the rest of the team there. You came up with your funny answer and you knew the right answer. So you get your 2 points for that, definitely. Yes, he has a phobia of antique furniture. All right, what can you smell with your nose, yet not do whilst holding your nose, other than smell? It's a thing you can do, and it's to do with
Drive
smelling.
safely? I mean, one-handed driving should be tended to.
You can't kiss properly whilst holding your nose.
I'll take...
Somebody
hang on.
phoned my mother.
Sorry.
Things have changed.
Is it
I took that as an invitation rather than a... So,
I like these second episodes.
welcome, Susan.
Clive, you can't give me £20 when you're holding your nose.
No, you're absolutely right. I can't. Yeah. It's you can't hum when you... Oh, sorry, you're just coming
You
into...
can't hum.
Yeah.
Can't hum.
can't
Thank
hum.
you. Thank you very
I'll
much.
give you a point for cheating. You can't hum. Let's just try that. Try. Go.
Oh, God.
Now do it holding your nose.
I am a miracle of science.
All right, that's sounding more like bagpipes going off in a rather... It might be appropriate. Here's a... Well, it's a very local story. Why is Glasgow's Gorbals the best place in the world to take a lover?
Well, it's just... you've been to the Gorbals?
I have indeed, yes, yeah.
There is nowhere nicer for a romantic stroll. Of an evening, you go and get some chips and cheese.
Yes.
You say, I'm going to show you the sights of Glasgow. And they say, really, the science centre, the museum? No, the Gorbals. And you take a small romantic walk through... Really, it's like a Parisian boulevard.
Yes. Well, the Gorbals, to be fair, is much more elegant than perhaps it used to be in the olden days.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I've courted many a criminal.
There is a particular reason, a particular romantic connection with the Gorbals you might know as a Glaswegian yourself. Anybody else happen to know this? Yeah. Yes, Cariad.
Is it if you say les Goebbels, it sounds romantic? So you could say, comme ça le donne manger, les Goebbels, and then it won't be like, oh yeah. Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm not sure entirely, but there is a French connection here.
I think you get a lot of Glasgow kisses in the Gorbals. I don't know if that...
Yeah, but you can't do while holding your nose. You hold your nose afterwards. Haha. Who do you associate? Which figure, mythical figure, do you associate with romance and love?
I was going to say Goebbels. He's not mythical.
Goebbels.
Sorry.
Is there a saint? Is there a saint of love or anything like that?
Well, St Mungo.
St Mungo. You think St Mungo is the name of a romantic saint?
Happy St Mungo's Day.
Yeah.
I love you.
What
Now,
other
let's
day
just
is
hold
there?
on a second.
Yeah.
Our dog was named Mungo, and he was a really affectionate
Yeah. And when you kissed him, you held your nose. Let's face it. So what other figure is associated with...
Did St Valentine live there?
He did not live there. He did the next best thing.
Day trip?
I'll give you a point just to doing this. Bits of St Valentine's bones are held in the Gorbals Church, St John Dunn Scottis, nicknamed now the City of Love. Everybody here knew that, didn't you? Yes. Certainly once I told you.
I just didn't want the people who were visiting Glasgow to feel like I was a know-it-all.
Yes. No danger of that. So they were gifted to the city by a French family, that's the French collection,
oui.
in 1868.
There we are.
That's the end of that round, and the scoring is this. Oh, Alex, you've done very well tonight with you and your teammate. You've got 1 point between you. But Susan's team got 4 points. 4 points.
It's round 2 and we're looking good, round 2.
Yes, we're getting even more tonight there from the Gus and Finn 4. They're just back from a somewhat disappointing stadium tour. Bit like Scotland's World Cup qualification campaign. Oh, you know, it's true. Or maybe this recording could be happening while Scotland are winning. Now that tonight, here we are in the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. The closest thing they get to heckling here is when the audience joins in with some of Shakespeare's better-known soliloquies. But in tribute to that, we found a proper actor for all our voiceovers and dramatic effects. He knew he wanted to be an actor when he played a shepherd in a primary school nativity play. He was 26 at the time. One day he'll be famous, but today isn't that day. He's the actor Harry Gooch. Harry, do you prefer stage work, film, television, or radio quiz shows?
It's so hard to say, Clive. It depends where one is spiritually, emotionally.
Oh, so adverts. That's
Mainly adverts.
Yes. Now, the guys will give you a clue on this round by playing a tune that relates to a famous moment in time. Simultaneously, our in-house thespian, Harry Gooch, will drop a few live voiceovers and performance clues, which will give you some extra idea of what's going on. Susan, you go first. The question you're answering here is, what major technological leap forward is our house band attempting to describe?
T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have liftoff.
I don't know.
Let's break it down.
Let's break it down.
As rappers are wont to say.
Absolutely, shizzle my nizzle. And so that was...
Maybe after the show.
Yeah, that was the Cariad. I was hoping for you, but never mind.
You got me with my nose held.
Me too.
That's it. Yeah.
So the band were playing, that was the theme tune to...
Star Trek.
Star Trek, obviously. Harry was being
An ape
I
of some kind?
I think
a
it
monkey?
was an ape of some kind.
An ape, kind of
it's
ape.
very possibly a technological advancement, the first monkey ape in space.
That's you straight there. You get your 2
nailed it.
points straight away. So, okay, over to the other team. Which celebrity birthday does this celebrate?
Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright.
So it's Here Comes the Sun, which is referring to the male offspring, and he was doing the farm noises, which is old MacDonald. So I think it's when Mr. and Mrs. MacDonald had Trevor MacDonald. It was Trevor MacDonald. Trevor MacDonald's birthday, I think.
I'll give you a point for that. It would be full point. I don't think Trevor MacDonald's
4th
father
of
was a
August.
farmer called Old MacDonald. But
Was he not the-
no, but you got a point. But you can go for the full pointage if you actually get the answer I'm looking for.
Well, Here Comes the Sun, of course, it must reference the sun god Ra, which is the first syllable of the word Rachel. And then there was a farm, so it must be Rachel Farm, who I can assume is a person that somebody knows.
Yeah, Rachel Farmer's
All right.
birthday. Yeah.
Is she
right,
here today, Rachel? No? Oh.
Okay, I'll give you another point for that. So you've got your 2 points without coming close to the right answer. What we were looking for was the birth of Jesus. Birth of Jesus. That's the stable, the noises, Son of God.
You could have done a Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
They did
Clive,
that.
Well, sorry, you said celebrity.
Alex's team, that means you've run on. You and Carrie, you've got 3 points. Susan's team, 6 points.
Round 3.
Round 3, is a quotations round. We'll give you a quote and you guess who originally said it. Sigmund Freud once said, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. I think Bill Clinton said that as well. But anyway, Harry is going to do some voices in character, but it's usually not the character of the person who actually said it. It's there to confuse you. Do us your first quote, would you, Harry?
It's always a crazy moment when you got a really cool pair of jeans, but the zip isn't working, and you can't wear them, 'cause things would fall out.
Okay, so...
I'm thinking Hitler. Was it one of the, was it Hitler? Because he was an obstinate man, wasn't he?
He didn't really concentrate on that area, but...
He wasn't a jeans wearer either.
no, not jeans. They're
And
too
not Hitler.
American, really.
Yeah, that's the only reason he didn't wear jeans.
He liked that sort of smarter uniforms and with leather trim, things like that. So not Hitler.
Was it the famous celebrity?
Oh, wait a minute.
I just wondered if it was the celebrity Jesus that we all know.
Definitely a man. Definitely
Yes,
man.
yes, well
Because
spotted.
nothing would fall out of a lady's jeans unless it's like me and you've stored some biscuits in there for later. So it's definitely a
Not
man.
chocolate digestive, because the chocolate would melt, wouldn't it?
No, you don't. It's not a chocolate digestive.
No.
It's just a plain digestive
Yeah.
that you put butter on that you've got in your armpit.
Okay.
So
I'll give you a choice. You're not. No. Is it Benjamin Netanyahu, Justin Timberlake, or Jedward?
Netanyahu,
Oh, for goodness
definitely.
sake, Susan, you always go for the wrong one on these things. Jed would crop up a lot in these, and it's Jedward again, so nobody gets the point
Can
on
I just
that.
say, Jedward is that the reason they can't do up their jeans? Because they're getting both of them into one pair of jeans.
Okay, second quote, though, Harry.
I don't know karate, but I know crazy.
I think I might go straight to the options on this one. Was it Nicola Sturgeon, Pink, or James Brown?
Nicola Sturgeon.
You just wanted to say Nicola Sturgeon, didn't you?
I'm often mistaken for her.
Are you?
It's awkward. People often shout that or Ruth Davidson. I apparently look like both
Yes.
leaders of the political parties in Scotland, which makes my life very, very difficult.
It's better just go with it and say, yes, I am, and then announce some crazy policy that they wouldn't necessarily be associated
I'm
with.
Nicola. Free
Yeah.
steak bakes for everyone.
So then, Alex or Cariad?
I get mistaken for the fawn from the O2 adverts.
Yeah.
I'm not a fawn. It's very
Yeah.
frustrating.
Well, there's some hooves under here. He's being very modest.
Just another fawn. I know that James Brown didn't know martial arts, so I'm going to go for James Brown.
James Brown is correct, so you get a point there for James Brown. Okay, third quote, please, Harry.
Voting Tory will cause your wife to have bigger breasts and increase your chances of owning a BMW M3.
Okay, yeah.
Nicola Sturgeon. Definitely. That sounds like something she would have said at the recent SNP con.
I think it's something you said while pretending to be Nicola Sturgeon. But that's not the right answer. It is a politician.
Thatcher. I'll say it again if you want. Thatcher.
There's really no point in saying. You've just got to come and think. You're in the right lines. Crazy, blonde, conservative politician.
Louise Mensch.
Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson, well done. You were...
Easy to get those two mixed up, though.
Yeah. So Alex gets his 2 points for that, so that's the right answer. I did help you quite a lot there. Let's have another quote, Harry.
The more you lose, the more you don't win.
It is a sports figure. It's a sports figure.
Lineker.
No.
I actually just wanted to say Lineker really seriously into a microphone.
Yeah,
that was
no,
pretty much the only reason
you
I did
did it
that.
very well.
Thanks,
so I'll give
mate.
you the option. Is it Alec Ferguson, Alec McLeish, or is it somebody else I'm making up as I go along?
I'm
Or
not going to
Alan-
guess this one because I get into such trouble. I'm just being enthusiastic. I am just picking people who I think it sounds like Netanyahu was a decent guess.
Yes.
But this time, I'm stepping back. It's entirely up to you. You choose, sweetie. You better get it right.
You could not be more passive-aggressive if you tried. Sweetie, and you better get it right.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Fergie. It's Alex Ferguson.
Okay, that's wrong. What's
I was going to go Ferguson. I'll go McLeish. But
Okay,
I
but
feel like
I'll give you a point for that, having you narrowed it down to the only option. But I suppose you get the point. Alec McLeish, as one of his wiser words. You can't say it's wrong. That's the end of the round, and the scores at this point. Oh, it's very, very close. Alex, you've got 7. You're just ahead of Susan, who's got 6. So well done.
Round 4. Round 4. Round 4. Round 4.
Oh, well done. That's your. I think it's the best ever of your round idents. That was very good. This is a specialist subject round, uneducated guess. It's not the specialist subject of our panellists, but you can't have everything. The house good old boy band, the Gus and Finn 4, will play a themed musical backdrop, and when the music stops, I'll go over the questions one by one, and the teams will have to buzz in against each other with guesses. So Google is the subject. So the idea of this is that I go onto Google and put in some entries and I get some answers. I'll tell you the answers and then you work out what I originally put in. So the third top search result for this one, the first one was just for men, moustache and beard. And number 2 was moustaches are back. And my top result was who grows a moustache nowadays? What did I ask Google about? Not yet. So question number 2, the top search results at number 3 was the gods and goddesses of Greece. Number 2 was has she angered the fairies? And number 1, how to keep the peace for each zodiac sign. What did I ask Google?
You've got a lot of time on your hands.
Now the third question, the number 3 result was Sinead O'Connor sports grey hair and tired expression. And number 2, Queen Nefertiti totally looks like Sinead O'Connor. And number 1, Sinead O'Connor. What was on my mind that night? What did I put into Google for those answers? So have I made this round clear? You're getting these results on a Google search, but what have I put in to get those results?
What you've put is a weird mental image into all of our heads of you hunched over a computer crying.
You were there, were you?
I was, yeah.
Okay, so the
You've got a
first one, all that just for men, moustache and beard. Who grows a moustache nowadays? What do you think I put in there?
How can I look like Tom Selleck?
Yeah, not bad. I think I'll give you a point for that because that makes more sense than the actual answer, oddly enough. What I put in was moustaches for bald men. I was thinking of trying a comb-up was the idea. So what about the next one? The gods and goddesses of Greece and how to keep the peace for each zodiac sign. What do you think I put in for
Did you
that?
put Cyprus, how can I help them? I'm a Leo.
Is it things to talk about on a blind date with someone who knows about Greek gods?
Again, this I'll give you a point. It's so good. The actual question we put in was, how do I placate an angry psychic? That's what produces those answers.
Right, I can't be the only one here who thinks this is absolutely ludicrous that we should be guessing these things, right?
Yeah. What about the next one? I think you were a bit...
No, I'm walking, Clive.
No,
I'm still in the room.
Yeah.
Play it to me.
So the answer is Sinead O'Connor, or Queen Nefertiti totally looks like Sinead O'Connor. This is one you can get, Susan. This is very much your area.
Cats.
So what's the question?
Cats. Why do cats who look like Sinead O'Connor?
You're right. You get 2 points. There you go. And the end of it, Alex team got 8 points. Susan's team's got 10 points.
No. It's round 5 and we want to go home.
Yes, I think you seem to have summarised Matthew's mood there, but now this is the round, Guess My Stories. It's called round 5. This is a round in which we hear an extraordinary story or event in the life of somebody here in the studio audience. So we do have, I hope, Alistair Hill in the audience. There you are. Very good. Now what we've done, Alistair's told us his story, and we've taken his story and distilled it down to 3 bullet points. Alistair will read out the first bullet point, finishing with the line, "Can you guess my story?" And then if you can get it as early as that, you'll get 5 points, and we'll work our way through the other bullet points. The sooner you get it, the more points you'll get. So, Alistair, could you tell us the first of your bullet points?
A man found something lying around in the docks and put it in the boot of his car. Then he called me straight away and asked me to get it out of his car. I had to get him out of there and fast and take a look at him. The whole place was starting to smell of fish. Can you guess my story?
Okay, all right. Anybody might better get all the way there with that one clue? Maybe not.
Are you the Riddler?
No.
From Batman?
No.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, here's what's happened to you. You are some form of animal inspector, and somebody phoned and found a seal.
Yes.
And you had to put it in the boot of your car. Or he was in the boot of his car, and you had to go and get the seal out. Because of the storms, it was on the dashboard of the car. I saw the photograph.
Yeah.
You've seen the whole story?
Yes!
Oh, 5 points, Susan. Oh. so tell us the rest of the story. Can you fill that in? Because clearly...
It was taken out of the car, it was snowing in gale force winds, and it was taken to our wildlife centre in Fife.
The seal was in the car, but how come it was on the dashboard? How did it get there?
Obviously, I didn't like being in the boot and pushed the seats down and decided to snowbathe on the dashboard.
Sorry, can I just ask, what's your job? I think that's because...
He is in a uniform.
Yes, I know.
Susan has already said what it is, but
It's the Scottish SS, it's the SSPCA who I give money to because you do a grand job. I love you.
Good.
And love the animals. Love the animals. And it's a beautiful photograph. This is me, just going, oh, I don't think this is the right place.
Yeah. And I think you gave it a name, didn't you, as often happens?
Smarty, yeah.
Smarty, because it could have had a particular flavour, or just was quite, quite clever. So what do you do with him?
He was taken to our wildlife centre in Fife because he was dehydrated, and he was kept there for over a month to put on weight, and he was released back into the sea.
All right. Oh, well done. So that's a heartwarming story to finish on.
Just by the way, I genuinely thought you were talking about Seal, the singer. I couldn't understand why this man had...
He locked himself in his own car.
Yeah.
I also thought you said the Scottish SS, and I was like, wow, that is... I didn't know
It's a
they
bit
had
different up here now.
Yes.
You enjoyed it?
There it is. Well, that's the end of the quiz. It's all going very well here. Many of the audience are already on their feet. Some are already rushing out the doors, hurrying to tell everybody what a good time they had. But let's look at the scores. And, well, that made a big difference, that last round. Alex's team, you a commendable 8. But you're beaten into second place, which out of competition of 2 is not great, by Susan's team, who got 15. So well done. This is very exciting. That's the end of the series. We've done 6 programmes. Alex, you've won 2 programmes, but that means Susan's won 4. Susan is the winner of the series. So all that remains to me is to thank all of my guests today, Susan Calman, Alex Horne, Matthew Crosby and Cariad Lloyd. You've been listening to The Guessing Game. If you enjoyed today's show, remember I'm Clive Anderson. If you hated it, tell everyone it was presented by Fred Macaulay. Anyway, this is me, whoever I am, saying goodbye. Goodbye.
This episode of Clive Anderson's Guessing Game was written by Michael Beck, Owen Cooper, James Felton, John McGlade, Jerry McKelvey and Kieran Nicholson. It was produced by Margaret